Alrighty, and here we go. Children should be allowed their own sense of individuality.
I would say democratic.
Okay. I have high standards which I expect my child to understand, and I enforce rules consistently.
Authoritarian.
Very good, yeah. Parents should do as much as they can for their children, making their beds, getting their snacks, and dressing them.
Permissive.
Yeah, very good. Okay. And JJ, when my child misbehaves, I yell and I threaten.
Dominant.
Yeah. Okay. And it could be that the others, the permissive may do that, but then nothing, what I don't, that everything's, kind of avoid. They just yell and threaten and nothing happens kind of thing, if you've ever known any parents like that. Okay. If I discipline my child, I'm afraid that he or she won't love me.
Permissive.
Mm-hmm. I know what's best for my child. After all, I'm the parent.
I guess authoritarian.
Yeah, that one's a little bit. Okay, but that's what I put down. Okay, I let my child do what he or she wants because I want to avoid conflict.
But I have all room for
Permissive?
Yeah.
Sure.
I have so many other things to do that children will just have to make it on their own.
Unengaged.
Yeah. Anyway, this is just one little scale that's used to kind of, for people to see the differences of where they fall on these. Okay. Let's get back to this. Let me see if I wanted to ask you anything else here. Usually I have the board and then I have this PowerPoint up, so I could kind of do both, but I don't have it that way for this one. Okay. So let me ask you guys, in terms of parenting style outcomes, so what's important about this? Okay, so we know that you guys have a sense of, the parenting style here, but what does that mean? So additional research has kind of looked at some other elements, okay, and I'm going to put this up in a minute so you have it, so you don't have to write everything down, but self-esteem, okay, looking at self-esteem of the child, confidence of the child, levels of anxiety and depression, academic performance. Is the child respectful? Are they responsible? We talked about social competence earlier and the importance of social competence. What does that look like? And also conduct. Are there behavior problems? Are there more behavior problems that we can correlate with one of these styles over others? Okay, so let's take a look at this. Okay. So this one was what? Do you remember?
Authoritarian.
Positive.
Democratic.
Yeah. Okay. You remember this one?
Permissive.
Yeah. Okay, you remember this one?
Unengaged.
Yeah. And this one?
Authoritarian.
Yeah. Or dominant, right? Okay. So what do you think? If you have a parent who's authoritative, who has a democratic style, positive parent, so they're high in the nurturing, high in the warmth, that they're able to set limits, right? Put some rules in place, expect that of their children to follow those. In terms of self-esteem, do you think the child's going to have good self-esteem there and confidence?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And what about for this child? What do you, and then these are outcomes that have been researched. So as far as long term. So for an authoritative, dominant parent, what are the outcomes on, and again, possible outcomes. I don't want to say every single child, but again, when we looked at the research, okay, so the majority. And lo and behold, what do you think?
Low self-esteem,
Mm-hmm.
probably anxiety.
Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
But as far as confidence, okay. And again, it's lower in reference to somebody that would have been, that they would have been exposed to that style. Now, how about here in the permissive? What do you think? And again, we're seeing that also it's high here. And what about unengaged or uninvolved? Okay. Now, do any stick out to you as being odd? Okay. I mean, you may think, well, permissive, why is that one high? And again, we did have the high in the responsiveness, right? So as far as warmth and nurturing, kind of validating the child's opinion, but just not very good at disciplining. So allowing them to kind of run the house, if you will, right? But okay. And for the most part, I mean, you guys are going to know that this one is going to be the worst on all measures, right? In fact, you don't really seem to even have much of a parent there, so any of these. Okay, so how about levels of anxiety and depression? I know, Lily, you're already moving on that. So here, so where this is the worst, right? We know that we're going to see most of the positive end, and again, positive parenting, we're going to see most of the positive outcomes with this. Okay, so anxiety, depression levels are lowest here when you have a parent who uses this type of parenting style. And this one, what do you think? Anxiety and depression.
I'll say high.
Yeah. So almost have kind of a military-like parent, right? That you fall in line, you do it. I don't care what you think about it, you feel about it. I don't want to hear your opinion on it. This is what you're doing. And you can see how that would get, there would be anxiety. And there's probably pretty tough repercussions if they don't, as far as consequences, right? And here it is, it's low for anxiety and depression. I see it as so there is something to be said about, just the warmth, the nurturing part, right? The caring. Okay. What about social competence? Okay, so being able to really get along with their peers, have an understanding of what happens in social relations. Showing empathy, that's important. Respecting other people's feelings, those kind of things. So as we said, this is going to, get the sort of the best marks on everything. So high on social competence, right? So what do you think about the democratic parent? Well, that's not very good. Right, so later on when they get it, when they're, you know, I mean throughout school and jobs and getting along with their peers and all of those things. Okay. And here a little bit of a marker. It's sort of generally high. So it sort of fluctuates a bit, but overall it's high on social competence. So just a little bit more of a fluctuation there. And why might you see it low here? And again, both of these, if you remember, are low as far as discipline, structure. There's no limits for them. So they figure maybe they can do whatever they want. You know, that's going to increase maybe even impulsivity and other things. It's really putting their own needs before others. And of learning that attitude, you can see how that's going to be problematic interacting with anybody, anywhere. Right, so, but in particular, yeah, it really sets your children up. You know, when you just overindulge in whatever they want, and okay. And then if you're doing that too, when there's no consequences and they're doing negative things, inappropriate things, and they're getting rewarded, which I've seen done, then all of that's just adding to the problem, right? Okay. So let's take a look at academic performance. Okay. All right, so again here you get some high marks, good academic performance, they feel good about themselves, they have lower levels of anxiety and depression, get along well with their peers and others. This one is not bad, but they're doing okay. They're following the rules of school, doing what they need to do. So it's average academic performance. So they may even perform under what they might do if they were in a different situation. So again, they're not really valued much at home, not much nurturing, warmth, affection, any of that stuff. You know, that is going to impact the person, so maybe they're not even striving or working as hard as they could, but they're just doing what they need to do. Okay. And overall, we see more underachievers here academically.